Oh, it's the wrong way. Should be facing us. How do I turn it around? Oh yeah, this way. Should be good right there. Oh wait, there you go. Another request. Oh, there you go.
Hello.
Oh, that's all. Hey, how's it going?
Good, you?
Good, good. It's working.
Yeah.
Oh, you wanted us to turn the comments off, right? How do I do that?
You can go to the side and turn them off.
Side. Turn
Like
off.
the left
Got
hand
it.
side,
Got it.
there should be a button.
Yeah, I got it. It's off now. All right. So, core movement. How are you? How's your day today?
I'm good. Just been busy with a couple of things. How about you guys?
Good, good. You know, just same old. Just playing some Call of Duty. We weren't honestly doing much. Yeah. So you started this page. How long ago now?
Last year, February of
And so
2019.
what made you start this movement?
So I started this because, first of all, I've dealt with the issue myself, like abuse within families. It was sexual abuse. So what I realized was that there was not enough services for our South community, like our South Asian community. So I decided to like open a platform where people can share their stories, because I know a lot of them can't share it in their households.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like I don't know why, but a lot of people in my like in my friend circle, they shared a lot of their stories and what's happened with them. So a lot of people have like talked to me about it. Then I was like, hey, I should start something. And that's when I decided to open it was called Hush Hush. It was not called the Core Movement.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to make it the Core Movement, because I had like an overload of emails come in and messages. And then I changed it to the Core Movement.
Okay.
Why the core movement?
Now, why'd you change it?
Hush Hush. I was like,
Hush,
well,
hush.
wait, I'm trying to make everyone start talking, so I
Yeah.
should silence it. Core Movement, because there was a lot of cores coming to me. So a lot of Punjabi girls that were coming to me sharing these stories. And I'm a core myself. So I was like, hey, I'm supposed to be fearless. I'm supposed to be powerful, like just the definition of core. And that's why I started it. Yeah.
Oh, dope. So you've been doing this for how long now? A year?
Year and a couple of months.
And so you've been through some ups and downs with the page, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what, like, get into a little bit of that. Like, what's happened and like,
So
why do you think these things happen to you on your page? Is it because what you're exposing and who you're exposing, stuff like that?
I think it's who I'm exposing. The first one I did do was the Shmesh Davar Gurdwara. And the Gurdwaras, I walked in.
What's the good
You
one?
exposed the
It wasn't exposing the Gurdwara. It was me walking in, recording the room that the girl was sexually abused in by a Baba there a couple years ago.
Wow.
And I know that it happens in Gurdwaras. I know a lot of people that have come up to me and said like, yo, this has happened to me, where a random Baba has come and touched me. Punjabi classes, there's been issues. So this is happening in a Gurdwara. And that day I was actually really pissed off. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go in and I'm going to record the exact room of where it happened, and then I'm going to post her story. When I did that, I didn't know there was going to be that many issues where like Babbe from like the committees and like the Gurdwara, they were going to start messaging me.
Yeah.
So they started messaging me saying, this is false information, blah, 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 blah. And then I talked to the female. They're like, why didn't she come out when it happened to her? And I was like, she doesn't do, like, girls don't do that. They're not going to come out when they're 14 years old. What she did was, that girl did tell her mom and dad, but her mom and dad were like, you were mistaken. So my thing was, I wanted security at a temple where, you know, at the Shmesh Davar, there's a playroom and there's so many people kids that just go in, and there's no like supervision. So we don't know what's happening to the kids in there. Yeah, they're playing around, but there's also Babbe sitting there just watching the kids and lurking. And it's true. It's like an actual fact. Like if you go in, you'll notice it. And then there's not only one case, there was at least like 7-8 cases, not only from that Gurdwara, a bunch of Gurdwaras in Abbey, in Surrey, and like a bunch of places. So not even here, Toronto as well. I have a lot of like situations that came up. And I'm like, yo, there has to be a change made. So when that happened, that's when it kind of like I started getting threats in a way, like defamation, I'm going to get you sued. And I'm like, go ahead, I'm speaking the truth. So I don't know, because the law isn't doing shit. What the fuck is the law doing? Tell me. Like, anybody goes, I've gone with like 4 or 5 girls now, and they have like reported their abuse. For example, that director. 2 girls have gone in, reported that director. What has happened? Nothing.
After director?
The director. What director are we talking about? The famous guy in Abbey that lives about 20 minutes from here. So him, 2 of the girls went and reported him. And what the result is going to be what? There's no proof, there's no evidence. So the law doesn't do anything. The law doesn't like put a list out there saying like these people are the abusers. So I'm like, I'm going to talk about them. At least someone will be saved.
Has anybody approached this director to like call him out for what he's done?
Yeah, someone has gone and someone has kind of, but he just denies it. And he says that I've not done anything, but he won't talk about it. So he's decided that he's going to let this just like slide off and not been mentioned or nothing, just not talk about it. So he's not going to
blow over type of thing?
Yeah, blow over type of thing. There's more females that have come forward, but they're not going to the cops. They're not willing to pretty much
like
go
their
further.
Too, right?
Yeah.
Which is like their choice too, right? To like do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's their choice. And honestly, dude, they don't get anything from the cops. That's what I've realized so far. When I like just my experience, when I went to the cop and told my story, they made me wait a month. They took my like information, everything. And then the cop calls me randomly, hey, I'm so proud of you for coming forward and sharing all this and going through the whole pretty much hassle, but there's not enough proof, and it was so long ago, and the court won't like approve this to go further. Even if it's just a molestation case, for example, none of these go forward. So all these victims lose hope, because what are the cops gonna do? Shit all. So it's like, we need to do something about it if the cops aren't gonna do anything about it. Because what are these victims' voices are just going like they're not being heard.
So what exactly are we doing? Like what?
So my thing is raising awareness about what's going on. The only time I do expose is if there's more than 2 victims coming forward and different victims, not just like just the same, like a friend of a friend or something. Like so
So-called directors had multiple.
Oh, multiple from different countries, dude. Like there is multiple from everywhere. And people are still like, oh, where's the proof? So a bunch of girls that have come forward, that's not proof enough. A bunch of girls that have actually given statements, that's still not proof enough. So when it comes to exposing, it's not really that. My page is more for awareness and for the people that want their stories heard. So meaning like if their families don't listen to them, if their friends don't believe them, they have a platform where they can come, like read their story out to me, talk to me, get some services where I link them up with counseling services. It all depends. I also talk to their families if needed. So for example, if someone wants to share their story with their family member and they're too scared to do it alone.
So my thing is, since like clearly this happens a lot in our culture, there's obviously like a deep-rooted issue here.
Yeah.
Right? So where do you think that issue stems from?
I would say the whole kardigan, keeping it in between the families.
But like partially, do you think this is because back home in India, there's a different type of mentality?
Mentality, the thinking, the way people think, where it's like, hey, if someone has touched you or if someone has done something to you sexually, don't tell anyone. You're not going to get married. So that kind of mentality is still like that. It's like, that's embarrassing for our community, where it's like, yo, nobody's supposed to touch you unless you're married. Nobody's supposed to do this. But it's funny how, for example, in Surrey, people meet secretly because your parents don't allow it, but they'll be like, hey, I'm going to the library and we're meeting up with a guy or girl. Because
that still happens?
Everything's secret. Yeah, that still happens. Everything has to be done secretly. Yeah. So everything's a secret in the families and you just don't talk about it. And that's the big thing too.
How do you change that though? What's your take on like how do you bring about changing that mentality or changing that mindset of our families?
There's like the awareness part of it, and then I think your page does really well for like people who can like share their stories with you, and like when you do those little ask questions things and people like let it out, right? But like what do you actually do to make like real change in it? Like
real change
because you're
is
saying
the
like
confidence.
don't do anything, like you're saying government doesn't do anything, clearly like the law is not helping us out in any way. So what do you
My thing is being educated, because there's like our parents are like there's a lot of people on my page that are moms and dads. They're not aware that, oh my god, this was even happening. So now they question me. They're like, hey, what do we do? I'm like, yo, talk about good touch, bad touch with their child. So when if it does happen to them, this is what you have to do. If I also give examples like, hey, don't leave your child like alone. You trust everyone, you believe everyone. That's not how it works. Yeah, it's your masi, it's your taya, it's your this or your that, but that doesn't mean that person's not looking like isn't gonna do anything bad. So I don't know, it's just more awareness, I guess. Change wise, I think it's giving more courage and reassurance to the females on this page. So don't be afraid to talk about whatever has happened to you, or when it does happen, don't be afraid to do something about it right there and then. We freeze, we get scared because it's a trauma, it's a traumatic experience. You don't know what's happening to you at that spot. But if we keep them where they're strong, where we're like, hey, slap the guy, hey, do this, hey, don't wait years, go right away right after the situation happened if you couldn't do anything then and there. So being able to actually go to your parents, being able to actually go and talking to someone instead of keeping it inside you. So when we keep things inside us, we overthink them, we let them go. But then when we grow older, that's when we kind of realize how an experience has made a difference to us and why we are infected in certain ways. For example, nightmares, anxiety, depression, and all that.
Okay. So I bet a lot of people message you saying like, you do this shit for attention and stuff like that, right? Yeah, all the time. What do you have to say to those type of people? Like, you're really about this, right?
I am very, very passionate about this. Personally, because I've experienced it and I know how it feels to be alone. I know how it feels to not have anybody there for you when you're going through something. So I don't want anybody feeling that. Second, the first year of this page, I didn't have my face in front of, like, I didn't even show who I was. It was anonymous. I didn't come forward. I just started showing my face like about like 4 or 5 months ago or 6 months ago. So no, it's not for fame. And people that want to think that, just let them. It doesn't faze me in a way, really, to be honest, because it's like they have nothing better to do, so they're gonna hate on a person that's actually trying to do something.
Where do you want to take it from here? Like, what steps do you want to do to move forward? Because obviously you have the page now, you have your following, you have people who come to you to do that. Where do you want to go next to improve like the actual lives of victims?
Do you have like a lot of like big names supporting you in this?
Yes, so I can give examples. Bishambar Das is one. She's a judge in the UK. I can give you Wamaka Gabi. She's an actress. Like, people that are well known in the community is one. There's Cal Desange that follows and supports the page. There's many people in the community that support it. A lot of people support it secretly too, because they just don't want to be involved. But meaning, like, if I need any connections, any links of any sort where I need to get connected with someone to help with a case, I have that. So that's the good part of it.
What's the hard?
Pardon me?
What's the hard part?
The hard part?
Yeah.
When it comes to, I would say, when it comes to talking to the families. So when I
go and talk to the families of like
I've gone to many where pretty much I've done three-way calls as well, because a lot of people are calling from different countries.
Yeah.
So meaning, like, I'll give you an example, the one that I went here. So I went into the family and I'm just a random stranger pretty much walking in with their girl.
Yeah.
And she needed to tell their parents that she was sexually assaulted by her cousin. And I was just sitting there while she's sharing this information. But she had the support where I'm in the background. So they kind of did at one point kind of attack her in a way, saying, why are you bringing this up now after so many years? Now, like, we're going to break the family. If we're going to do something about this, blah, 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 let it go because it's already happened. So that's when I kind of have to stand for that person, where that person isn't able to defend themselves. They don't know how to at that point in their life. So let's just say, like, I go when it comes to that. I've met up with abusers as well. So there was a case here in Surrey where I went with a girl to meet her abuser.
So you met the actual abuser?
Yeah. So the reason for this one was they both didn't know what they had done to each other in a way. They were so young. So meaning like the guy touched the girl at the age of like 12, 13, but she was like 6, 7. So they were, let's just say, like, they didn't even know about their own body parts and they were experimenting. But they see each other at family functions and now they're older. They're like 24, 25.
And this is affecting the girl.
Yeah, so it's affecting the girl. It's like, yo, I see you. I have to say hi to you. But it's like, what the fuck did you do? Like, what the hell was it? So then they sat down and pretty much talked. And he's like, yo, I didn't even know. But at the end of the day...
How does that conversation, like, go? Like, how do you, like, mediate that? Because that's a pretty intense thing for somebody to sit there and let you, like, you're basically, like, judging their situation.
Yeah, in a way, judging. I'm more of, like, sitting there talking. I don't want any problems.
Are you receptive to both perspectives, female and male?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you gauge that difference?
Pardon me?
How do you, like, gauge the difference between the two? Like, of how do you, like, relate to the one party and to both parties equally at the same time, like when you're talking to
So
them?
I'm not getting emotionally attached with them. I don't know them. I'm listening. I'm a third person just entering their story of what has happened. My thing is healing. My thing isn't about, like, hey, causing a scene and, like, hey, you did this, now this is what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about, hey, both of you need to heal. But that's case was both of them needed to heal, where it's like they both needed to apologize to each other. My main thing is what the victims want. So most of the victims want an apology by their abuser. Most of the victims, like, hey, I need to heal. I need to move forward, but I can't because guess what? I need to see you at family functions. I see you at all these places and you pretend like you haven't done anything to me, but you have. So it's just like, you know, when you break up in a relationship and you need that, like, closure, it pretty much comes to, like, a closure of, like, healing and, like, now moving forward.
Yeah, interesting. So, yeah, back to the other question before. Where do you want to take the page forward?
So I have made it the Core Movement Foundation. So I still wanted a seva though. So I've always wanted it where there's no money involved. It's kind of getting harder now where there's no money involved. I'm putting a lot of time and effort in, but a lot of victims sometimes need money to, like, get out of situations, leave their house. So, but I'm kind of like
non-profit organization type of thing.
Yeah, a non-profit organization. But I feel like there's already so many organizations like that where I can just send them to anyways, and they can get help like that. I want to make it a focus of just healing, and it's a seva where there's no money involved, meaning, like, if I post something up on my page right now saying, hey, I need a lawyer, that I just need advice for a victim, they'll help for free without no gain, without no, like, there's nothing where they're going to get something. In a way, it's humanity, serving each other for free and helping strangers. So that's my main thing, where it's just going day by day, helping one another and just not asking anything back in return.
That's really good.
What is there anything else, like, that you have been through this, like, experience that has been hard on you, or, like, how's it affected, like, your life, like, your actual life, like, your family life and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So obviously, like, there's
how are your parents? How do they feel about this?
It's hush hush in my family. So we don't.
They're not with it.
They know what I do. They know what I do. They're scared for my well-being. Like, they're just scared for me.
They're just,
meaning,
like being parents, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're being parents. They're like, how is this helping? They kind of don't understand how it's helping. So my dad, for example, like, nobody knows this really, but my dad goes to India once a year and he opens the eye camp for the poor, right? So he just, like, helps with eyesight and stuff. And I'm like, hey, that's your seva and that's what you're doing with money. My seva is helping people with their they're silent, they're depressed, their anxiety, that whatever they're going through, I'm helping through that. And that's my type of seva, right? But my parents, it's hush hush. They know I'm doing good. They're okay with it, but we don't talk about it. we barely talk about it. Another thing is when I get threats in a way, like, for example, just like a couple days ago, someone messaged me my address. So it's like, hey, bro, I know where I live, but okay, like if you want to come by, come by.
I think it was
like,
atmosphere director.
Who knows? Maybe it was him. I have no idea at this point. But I got a message with my address sent to me, and I'm like, "Aake cha pi lo." Make me some cha, man. Like, what? Why are you sending me the damn address? Like, it's like I don't understand. I don't understand that part. But I guess
they're probably trying to scare you.
You put something on your story today too. Like, somebody sent you a video of yourself?
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. So this was last night, yesterday.
Yeah.
Pretty much what happened is I received a video of myself.
Yeah.
Like, I went to Arizona with a couple of girls, and I went out and I made a video of myself. And I posted it on my personal page, and which is private now, but before it used to be public.
Okay.
And I guess someone had screen recorded it or something, I don't know, messaged me on the side with a private like account and pretty much saying, hey, I'm gonna post your video everywhere. This is not a core. You shouldn't be wearing that. Like, you pretty much he was calling me out for looking like a slut whore type of a deal. That's what his thing was. So I was like, okay, so you're trying to tell me you're gonna make this viral? And the person's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So 30 seconds later, I posted it up myself, and I'm like, here you go. Like,
there's a viral for you, right?
So he said,
make it viral on my page.
He said this is not what a core would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not something a core would do. So a lot of people are not okay with the movement being a core movement because I'm not Amritari. So I'm not.
Oh, okay.
So they relate that to.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't mean I'm not a core. So like
well,
all the
a lot of Amritaris out there not doing Amritari things, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know. Yeah, there's a lot of.
apparently you're not a core or a thing if you're not Amritari.
Okay, yeah, back to it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it was. I started laughing. I was like, are you kidding me? At the end of the day, like, I personally know I haven't sent any like of my inappropriate pictures to anyone, but if I did, or if someone took a picture of me and then they're like, hey, now it's a nude of you and I'm gonna make it viral, the first thing I'm gonna do is take the picture, literally post it on my page, and obviously block out whatever I need to block out whatever I need to block out, and then be like, I'm not breaking any community guidelines, because Instagram and their community guidelines, right? Not gonna break it, but here's a picture of me. Apparently this is my nude picture and people are trying to scare me with it.
Let's just hope that doesn't happen.
Exactly. But like, you know what? There's a lot of people that try though. I've had pictures sent to me which are of someone else's body and my face on it.
Oh,
so like editing and stuff done, right?
Like,
a lot of people put a lot of time into this. Eh? Like, you must have really like
pissed some people off.
I've pissed a lot of people off. I've pissed a lot of people off. There's a lot of talk that's happening that people don't want, like, you know, mentioned sex education, me as a girl talking about sex and all of that kind of stuff. And it's not even sex, it's sexual abuse.
Honestly, like, I do think we need sex education. Like, you don't really learn a lot when you grow up, like, especially like being brown.
Yeah, we don't. No. Do we talk about condoms in our families? No. Do we if there's a movie playing and there's a kissing scene, our parents like hide it. Like, everyone gets awkward in the family. So there's a lot of
I get kind of awkward.
Sex education.
But it's never talked about. So
yeah, it should be. It's a part of life, right? Because if you're preparing the kids for life, then this is a part of life that happens, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
that's not really our parents' fault either. Like, because where they come from, they've just learned to come here and hustle and work hard.
They don't know themselves,
life, right?
Like, exactly.
They haven't been educated on that either, right?
When it was their age, they were.
I wouldn't fully blame parents either, but like, obviously you gotta take some accountability. But at the same time, it's just like that. It's literally the system we're in. Like, the system, you're saying the criminal system, like, it's not helping any victims. Like,
it's not helping.
It's not helping either.
Yeah, it helps 3% of victims. Literally, out of, let's just say 100 cases, only 3 will go to court. So how about all other people?
That's crazy.
Yeah, where's the other people? What are the people gonna do? Yeah, there's false cases. I understand that. There's girls that have exposed on my page too, where they've given.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So let's
Girls
talk about
do.
that. Like,
So,
what? So girls lie. So like, what do you do in that situation when a girl's like lied about a case or something? And how do you find out like if you know that they're lying or something like that?
Yeah. So I want to see your process. So how do you take a story and say, okay, this happened, I'm gonna post it? Like, what makes?
Okay, so for stories, for example, that I have on my page, first I talk to the people. So what's going on? How can I help you? What service? Like, what can I provide for you? What like you're trying to heal by sharing your story with me, right? So some people just want their story shared because it's anonymous anyways, right? And seeing like the comments underneath help them. So hey, like I'm not the only one. It's like a support group.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's been through it. There's
Like
so
a
many
group
other.
chat.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that have been through this, right? So it's a kind of like a support group healing, right? But when it comes to exposing, for example, obviously I go really in depth. Like for example, the director and the singer that I exposed on my page,
Singer
I
too?
got stuff for
What was the
9
thing?
what you guys
Not say his name.
Dilpreet Long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Wait, he
wife came
used to abuse his wife, right?
yeah, he beat up his wife. But before that, there was 5 other girls that had come forward, and he used them for money and pretty much sex and pretty much.
How is he reacting to this? Is he just ignorant to it?
Have you guys not seen his live?
No.
Oh, he started crying.
Yeah. Okay. He started crying.
So he had tried to act like the victim himself when the girls were the victims, and it's not like one victim came forward; 5 came forward, and then his wife came forward. So. Yeah. But look at all the people that support him, the people that have that mentality that think like, oh, just because he sings good songs, that he is like, you know, he's proper. Now his latest song is him being the victim and saying, yo, people
made himself look like a victim, and then
but that's
for it, and people fell for it, and even though he's a woman abuser, and
exactly. But going back to the females, a lot of females like think that I'm just gonna post just because they're female. Like I'm just gonna expose a male on my page just because they're female, and I'm just gonna support, and there's no questions kind of being done.
So what happens when that?
Have you ever had someone send you a story where you're like, okay, this seems kind of fishy?
Oh yeah, there's a lot. There's many that I get like that as well. There's many like, so there was a couple of girls. I'll give you an example. Last month, I got a girl send me a picture of a guy from Surrey, and saying that he has done this, and I want him exposed, right? Mm-hmm. But a girl that is going through something, usually they're looking for help and support, not focused on the exposing part of the person, not looking for revenge.
Buddy left her, and she was like, I want to go at him.
Pretty much just wants to make his face viral in a way and say like he's bad and like ruin his rep. And it's like, hey, just because it was a bad breakup, that doesn't mean I'm going to expose a person. I don't care if it's a bad breakup. I know someone cheated on you and it sucks. But like, it's reality. Like, you have to be strong enough, be courageous enough to like move forward and like put yourself first and be like, hey, fuck this guy. Like, he cheated on me. And you know what? I got played and it wasn't right. No, it was not okay. But it's not something that I'm going to do where it comes to revenge and stuff, where I'm going to start posting, right? If someone has physically assaulted you and abused you really badly in a relationship, hey, I'll help you with services. But until another victim comes forward with that same person, I can't expose. It doesn't work like that. I feel like when it comes to exposing, hey, if he's done it with several girls, then I can, hey, there's a chance of me coming forward. Because it's not easy defending. These girls are behind the scene. I'm doing all the talking for them. So it's really hard. Like, for example, even the director case. There's 4 victims that have come forward. None of them. Yeah, there's 34 girls. And out of all of them, they're all talking to me. Everyone's crying on the phone to me. And I'm like, hey, I understand you, but like, I'm the only one talking for you guys. So you need to like, it comes to the point where it gets kind of like frustrating. Because I'm like, hey, like, I'm trying to help you. I will help with healing. I'll emotionally support you. But I can't keep talking about the same thing over and over again if you won't take a step to go to the cops. Yeah, 2 of them did. Do something where you guys all go together.
Out of 34, only 2 went?
Pardon me?
Out of 34, only 2 went to the police?
Out of 34, only 2 went.
Yeah.
So that's how,
But
like,
at the same time, it's just like you can't, like, yeah, I get that. You can't just ask that of the other 32 to, like, hey, like, you know, this is
yeah,
like
that's
their
not my goal.
obligation, right? Like, that's not their thing. Because, like, at the same time, when you're like exposing a person, you're also being vulnerable
But I guess
yourself,
at that
right?
point, you're just trying to save other people from getting hurt by
My
him.
thing was, when I was exposing this, hey, I waited 9 months to do this, right?
Yeah.
So when I was like, okay, yo, I was looking at it realistically. There's so many girls. So how many more is he gonna have? So if there's already these many girls, how many more is he gonna have in the future? So my thing was, I don't care if he goes to jail. I don't care if he succeeds in his career and he keeps singing. I really don't care. But my job here was, yo, at least now you know that this guy does this, and you guys will be more cautious. Yeah, go work with him if you want to, right? That's your choice. That's not something I'm gonna control. That I don't hate anybody in that way. But my thing is, like, yo, there's awareness that I'm gonna create where you guys now know what's up. So if you guys do get into a situation, at least I've warned you about it, right?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Well, you're just basically trying to just prevent it from
So
happening.
that was their whole point of exposing him, was to just like
prevent it from happening.
It wasn't. I don't. To be honest,
You're not doing it out of hate or pity to somebody. You're just doing it to, like, literally protect whatever your movement.
Because think about it. If 34 have come to me, how about the girls that don't even know about this page?
Yeah.
How about the other girls who, I don't know how many more there are. 34 is a lot of girls, right? And how is he using it? Like, through Snapchat. How does he target females? Vulnerability, where some of them are just they've just gotten out of a divorce. Some of them are like really new to the country. He targets certain individuals, right? Or naive young girls or something like that, or someone that's looking into modeling and you're promising something to them. A lot of people he's promised marriage to. Like, hey, I'm gonna marry you. I love you. I'll take care of you. I've seen the messages and videos. Yo, I have so many videos too. Like, I'm just not putting them out because the victims don't want them out, right? So that's not my goal. My goal was to raise awareness about it. If I wanted like this for popularity and what people say, if the amount of videos I have and I start leaking all that stuff right now, you guys will all be like, what the hell? Like, what is this?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, that's not what it's about, right? Like,
no, it's not. That's what people need to.
That's about helping, like, the victims and stuff like that, because that's what matters, right?
And obviously, if the shoe fits, they're gonna get defensive, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Themselves and try making themselves.
And then once the videos get involved, then it just becomes a battle between the two of you guys. You're gonna start getting this defensive.
Yeah, that's
both go on defense, and it just turns out to a bad situation for no reason.
Exactly. My thing was awareness about that director, and that's been shown to everyone. And now it's like, I'm not gonna stick with the same stuff. If another victim comes forward and decides to share their story, I will post it. There's 34. Like 7 of them have showed their stories on the page. A couple of them have showed their faces. So let's just see, like, if they want to come forward, they can. That's their time, and whenever they're ready and comfortable coming forward, right? I can't do that. When the Amber and Dilpreet situation was happening, Amber knew 7 months ago what was going on. She was ready to come forward, and then when she was ready to come forward, she contacted me. So there's always a time and place. People need to have strength and courage, like, to come forward. It's not easy. Look at the judgment some of the people get after someone has shared their story on my page. If you look under comments and stuff, there's a lot of rude comments, and people don't understand, like, these people are vulnerable. They're coming forward and sharing their story, and now you're questioning them, saying, why didn't you come out when this happened? Why didn't you scream? Why didn't you do this? Like, yo, you weren't in their shoes. You weren't there. So who are you to judge? We can listen, we can understand, we can be there for the person and support the person, but we have no right to question the person. If it comes to questioning, like, hey, like, don't be questioning the victim. Go question the person that the person is accusing. Go question that person. But in our society, that doesn't happen. And our society is always the girl that's getting their, like, you know, everyone's pointing at the girl, like, why were you smiling? Why were you wearing this? Why were you doing that? Why were you there? It's like, yo, I was with my cousins. I didn't know my cousin was gonna do this to me, right?
So, what do you do if a girl does come forward with, like, a lie? Like, how do you treat that situation? So, say, like, the guy with who she sent a picture, like, do you notify the guy? Like, what happens then?
Oh, yeah. I'll be like, hey, this is what's going on, and she's trying to sabotage you. If it comes in a way where she's getting very defensive with me, I have exposed one girl on my page where she was kind of trying to sabotage this guy through other pages as well.
Yeah.
And like it was just all lies. So exactly what I do with the guys. It's the same, I don't care if you're a boy or a girl. At the end of the day, if a predator is a predator.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I think of it. I don't care what career you have. I don't care how big you are, how small you are. I don't care gender either. So everything's the same way. What I think is right, I'll go with that. I'm not always right. Like, I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just here to support the people that don't have support. And like, if someone tries to sabotage that in a way, like, you're trying to ruin my movement by ruining it for the other victims, because then people start questioning the actual true real stories. How do you know this is true? Because of one or two people that are bullshitting it, right? So no, it's not about gender when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, I guess females in our community do have it very hard, and I think that needs to start changing somewhere. So.
Yeah, they have it really hard where it's, I'm just so I'm not even shocked anymore. I'm just like, why aren't parents doing something? Like, there's so many girls since this page has started that have gone to their parents and told their parents what has happened to them. So the previous, like, I've posted about 180 stories. Out of those, like, in like this last like 3-4 months, I've had like 7 to 8 girls that have went and told their families like what has happened to them. I guess if they reread this page over again, they see all the courage that some of the girls have, they get courage. But when they go and tell their parents, their reactions aren't right. The reactions that the parents give are just letting the victim down even more. So meaning like just questioning them.
But at the same time, I would say to that the parents don't know no better. Like they don't have a book on this either, right? Like they like the last thing that the parents are expecting is to come home and hear that.
Yeah.
So it's shocking.
And that's fine. And when the parents you go straight, when you're a parent, you go straight on I'm not a parent, but you go straight on like defensive mode when it comes to your kid. But like that's basically, you want to defend, you want to protect, you're a protector of the child. But at the same time, you just want to like, in that situation, they probably just want to pretend it never even happened.
Yeah. So like, there's Rakhi tomorrow, right? And yesterday I put a post up saying, whatever you want to share, go ahead and share, like whatever your thoughts are. A bunch of people started sharing. I didn't even post a bunch of them because I was dealing with a couple of situations. So there is a girl that has to tie a Rakhi on her brother, so-called brother, that has molested her. But she has no option because then the families always get together and the Rakhi stuff always happens. And if this year she decides not to tie the Rakhi, there's going to be a scene. But this guy has molested her, but nobody in the family knows. But so, like,
what should she do? What do you think how should she approach this?
See, that's stressful because I've been in that situation. So where I have tied a Rakhi on my abuser. And it went on for years and years. But I came forward to my family and I told them what has happened, right? After that, I wasn't told to like tie the Rakhi ever again. But it's her. She's too scared to go to the family and even mention it. She's like, hey, like, like our females think very emotionally. I feel like guys think more realistically. It's the truth though. Like, that's what I've noticed so far. When you look for a guy's advice.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, is like that the only way for her to like is to come forward? Like, what other options do you like when you're healing with people? Like, what do you tell them? Because like obviously not everybody can. What if she lives with her family? Like, what if like that? Like, what if like situation that's just out of your control? Like, what can you do?
So what other I gave her a couple of options that I could think of, to be honest, because I was like, holy crap, like, how can I help you? One was obviously going to the family. One was, hey, do you want to approach that abuser separately? So meaning like that person knows when you're tying the Rakhi, she's not comfortable. They both know what's up. So I was like, do you want to approach him separately? What do you want to do? Or do you need excuses? So meaning like, what excuse can you make every year not to tie a Rakhi on this guy? Or something where we can like work on it. So it just depends on each case. Like, for her, it was like she just straight up scared, and she's like, I'd rather just suck it up and tie the Rakhi. So at the end of the day, she's going to be doing it tomorrow.
If she doesn't tie the Rakhi, what's going to happen? Her house is going to
No, so pretty much there's gonna be a problem where the parents are gonna be mad and be like, "Hey, you tied it on all the other brothers. Why didn't you tie it on this brother?" Okay. So it'll be awkward. The situation is gonna be awkward. So it comes down to formalities at the household, right? These are the formalities that happen. They have a lunch and dinner together. They tie the rakris. You give each other the money and whatnot. But at the end of it, like, yo, she's suffering. So my thing was, hey, if you want to tie the rakri, you don't want to, but you're going to. So she has decided to do it. I'm like, right when you have done it, come talk to me after.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk. Let's communicate. What do you want to do for next year? If you don't want to like deal with it this year, what other ways can we approach it? It depends on the victim and what they want, right? It's not my choice. I'm just helping them heal and not have it suffer, where they're not going to sleep, like they're able to sleep at night. They're not panicking, having anxiety attacks and all of that, right?
Makes sense.
That's a shitty situation.
That's just shit. Yeah.
You'll be surprised how many girls do that. You'll be really, really surprised. Like in my household, not in only my household, but my friends and stuff, there's probably 2 people in my friend groups that still do that. But as younger, they were like assaulted by that person. A lot of girls that are on this page, they also have told me like, hey, we see our abuser in our household. So they'll come over for dinners and stuff, and the abuser comes to the house. And they still have to say hi, and the parents know what's up. But guess what? Formalities. Like, or else other people are going to talk. Our society is more worried about what other people are going to say and not even worried about their own children. Like, this is what I've realized. Our like families, they'll be like, hey, like, yo, this is the problem, but we are not going to let anybody know, and let's just pretend we're all happy and we're good to go. Because you know what? If we're not like this and we cause a scene, then people are going to talk.
That fake perfect family.
Yeah, that little life. Because nobody's life's perfect on paper. Everybody on the paper, everybody just wants to look good on paper. That's all that matters to most people in our culture, especially. I don't understand it still to this day, but it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Just like but I guess that would be the change that like our generation would have to make. Like,
we were the ones that have to kind of make it where our kids, our next generation, don't kind of deal with what we have dealt with. I think we're a generation
that's us educating ourselves.
Yeah.
I think that's where
it starts with ourselves. Before we want to help anybody else or go do anything, we all got to just educate ourselves and figure out it on our own to, make the world a better place.
Exactly.
That's so lame. But
it seems cliche, but it's true. That's what we have to do. Nowadays, everyone's so worried about like not only just like, everyone's so selfish. Like, yo, why is there always an agenda to something? Where's humanity? Where am I the only, like, I honestly sometimes I feel like I'm way too nice. I'm like, yo, like, do I have to start acting like a bitch because everyone else is a bitch? Like, that's just how it's become to me now. A lot of people in Surrey, a lot of people in Toronto, they have so much attitude, so much like, hey, I'm the shit. But like, when I talk, like, some of the people that have that attitude and have that Instagram page where they're the shit, and they talk to me, and they're the complete opposite of that. They're like, hey, I've been through this. That's why I'm like this. There's so much like family stuff that we don't understand, like the abuse, the domestic abuse that happens in the families and stuff, and how a child gets so angry in their life as a teen, in their 20s and 30s, and they're not healing because they don't believe in counseling. They don't believe in healing. They just think this is just how our personality is, and that's how we're just gonna keep it. But yo, we all need to start talking, like, talk about your emotions. There's so many guys that show emotions like with anger, but they're dealing with a bunch of shit. And it's like, yo, just because you're a banda, that does not mean that you don't have emotions. That doesn't mean that you can't talk about your shit. But then at the same time, girls are looking for a banda. Girls are looking for that, like, hey, be a man, like, yo, like, protect me. But it's like, yo, the guy has gone through shit too, so listen to that person too. There's like both sides of everything, right? But I feel like guys just hide their emotions a lot with their partners or whatever it is, and that does affect the way they are. Like, that does affect why some of them are abusive. So yeah, like, I help victims, but I'll be honest with you, I've helped a lot of abusers on my page too. So there's people that have like sent me stories of like they have done something to someone and now they're regretting it. Really? So that's probably the hardest to deal with, Because I'm
what
like,
do you do in that situation?
It's always no judgment, nothing. Like the person's asking for help. So what does it come down to? Like, how can I help the person? Where do you need to go apologize to the victim of what you've done to that person? How can I help you? Do you need counseling? Why did you do that? Because at the end of the day, it's the past. Like, you can't change what you have done. But like, how are you going to heal and move forward as well? Because it's obviously affecting you. And that doesn't mean just because you've made that mistake, you're like a bad person now you just have to keep doing things like that, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so it's really difficult though, because I'm just like, wow, you're such a like loser for doing what you just did. But guess what, you're owning up to it.
But like, yeah,
but look, you're owning up to it. You're owning up to your damn mistakes. So good for you. Like, that's not easy to do. You're, instead of denying it, you're actually saying, hey, I have done this. So now I'm going to be like, what services can I provide? Where can I link you up? Any organization that you can go talk to? Or if you just want to talk to me, let's talk. Like, how are you going to heal from it, right?
Nice. Well, that was fun. Wow, that was
so to bring it all back together. Your page was started so you can create awareness for girls in our community.
Yep, girls. Then guys as well. So there's a lot of guys that aren't aware that their relatives and stuff do this. The good ones don't know that, so they're more aware now. So all of this kind of stuff, it's about awareness, to be honest. The whole page is about awareness and healing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what's been happening.
Well, cool. I would like to thank you for coming on. It was really good conversation. Go check out the Kaur movement. She's got a lot of cool stuff on there. And as well, I would like to throw in everybody who's on here to go #FreeJuggy and go support that, because he's still in jail, and that could have been like, look, you're speaking up on all this stuff, like that could be easily be like somebody in like you in that position one day. Like, exactly. So that's why we all need to support it. And yeah, well, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you guys.
It was awesome talking to you. All right, thank you.
All right, save the live.
Yeah, I'll save it.
Okay, bye.
Bye.